Hi, I'm Rob Levin, publisher of the New York Enterprise Report, and I'd like to welcome you to Drinks with Rob, where I get to do two things that I really love to do. One is to sit down with a fantastic entrepreneur, and the other is to have a drink. To that end, I'd like to welcome Chasen Hecht, our guest, Chasen Hecht from Ritenza. First, let's do what we need to do here.
Cheers.
Cheers. Chasen, tell us a little bit about Ritenza.
So Ritenza started in the late 1990s, and we help organizations retain their top talent, the employees that an organization needs to exceed the business goals. And retention happens every day at an organization. It is either on a given day that they're inspiring or engaging a workforce, or they're not. There is no neutral. And so organizations come to us from 5 continents, now in 9 languages, to help them identify the breakdowns in that, what we call the employee-employer relationship.
Can you say retention in Japanese?
I'm working on that.
Right.
That's good.
Get back to us on that.
I will get back to it. Yeah.
So it's interesting.
In Spanish, though, I can have a pretty fluent conversation. So retener. Let's do the rest of this interview in English.
Okay. I think that's a good idea. You know, I'm going to have another drink, actually. I encourage you to have another one. So it's interesting. You said you've been doing this since the late 90s.
Yeah.
Because these days, I hear a lot more about retention and this culture stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you were doing this in the late 90s. What trends have you seen over the past, 12 years or so?
So I think the first thing is that people actually know what that means, that culture. When we started, and we've been writing articles and talking about this, right, well before this was a common vernacular, right, for a business owner.
Right.
Certainly a small business owner. Right, the small business owner's focus was get the product, get the service out, right? And then we've got to figure everything out along the way.
Right.
That's changed. They certainly know what it means to have a organizational culture. They know what it means. If they don't know exactly what engagement is, they need it, or they should have it. So, whereas 10 years ago there was a big education curve, I think right now we're talking more about the results. What's the difference between where you are now and where you could be?
Right.
And that's a much more interesting conversation.
Right. So companies are calling you in. I mean, I'm sure you have a sales force too, but let's talk about the companies that are calling you in. What percentage of them, when you show up, do you know within the first meeting that, you know what, I know that they think they want to work on their retention, but they really aren't there yet? I mean, does that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a certain number of owners and executives who, they read an article. Maybe it was an article we wrote, right, in Business Week, Wall Street Journal, wherever that may end up, New York Enterprise Report, certainly. Right. And they read the article or they see a video and they say, oh, we need that, right? So let's bring them in, let's have that conversation. And then I think one of the things that we've done well in the history, in addition to listening to what they say, I think we listen for what's missing. And when it's missing, that they talk about what's important. If the business owners aren't talking about what they value in their workforce, right? What's the potential here?
Right.
And they're just talking about the problems to fix
Right.
the problems, fix the problems.
Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly.
You guys don't do Band-Aids.
Someone else sells that. You can get those at Walmart.
Right.
Ritenza doesn't sell those because they really don't work. Right? And we actually now, interestingly, we now have a history of data that says that the Band-Aids actually don't work. Right? People tried it. People tried to do the patch and the fix, and at some point that broke down because maybe you can fool some of the people all the time and all the people some of the time, but you can't fool all your employees all the time. Right. If you legitimately aren't creating a
then they start to see, oh, it's the flavor of the week, and there's no buy-in and stuff. Right?
Yeah, and we really are trying to move anyone we talk to away from chasing those fads. Because that's what they are. And it gets expensive. And it gets to be an entitlement. Well, everyone else is offering this, right? This is the answer, is...
Got to keep up with the Joneses.
Got to keep up with the Joneses. We've got to get box seats for everybody.
Right.
Right? And the reality is that half your workforce is probably frustrated that you bought box seats. And that's the last thing we need. Right.
They're fine with bleachers, but hey, give us a hot dog.
Yeah, right. Some other way to improve. A little flex time, an extra vacation day. When I went above and beyond during busy season,
right.
Something like that. And so, moving away from let's throw stuff out at the wall and see what sticks.
So, do you ever walk into is it always the boss's problem, or sometimes is it, you know what? Do you ever go into a company and say, you know what? There's nothing we can do here. You got to fire everybody and start over. I mean,
actually, I think it's
easy to blame the boss.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, it's also, I got to tell you, I think there's as many times we go into an organization where the boss is saying, I want to fire everybody and start over.
Right.
Right? That's pretty expensive too. It's hard to get away with that.
Right.
And so, I think that there's room on both sides. And I think that's part of the approach that we take. We're trying to educate the employees, and helping them communicate their needs, wants, and expectations better, right? Rather than in frustrations or in vent sessions, right? Because that's not constructive. So we're both helping employee communication, right? Via surveys or exit interviews, 360s, upwards evaluations. We're using these tools to get the information, and then we're looking at the managers,
right.
And there's room on both sides.
At the end of an engagement, this is some pretty powerful stuff here. Are you getting hugs from the employees, from the owners?
Hug it out. That's what we do.
Are you getting that?
That's the plan. It's a ropes course.
We always say our clients hug us,
yeah.
Which is, that's a testament to the work that we're doing. Are you guys getting hugs? You can tell us.
Here's what, do you want a hug? Should we hug?
I could, but I have this mic here, and I'm not allowed to move too much.
That's right.
Can I take a rain check?
We can take a rain check as soon as we're done. So we're definitely getting a great deal of appreciation and value, because if they can't even articulate what's different exactly, they know that in the months from when we started to when we finished, things aren't as hard. Whatever the thing is,
it's not as uphill.
It's not as uphill. It doesn't feel like they're just on the treadmill, mm-hmm. right? And usually from the executive level, there's always a feeling that we're putting so much in. Right, we're investing, we're spending, and it's a lot of time and energy and effort, and either we really don't know what we're getting back, or it just doesn't feel like it's as much as we're putting in.
Right.
And that changes, right? Even if they don't know exactly what that difference is, there is definitely a noticeable difference, and that's for us, I think that's most exciting, because I can see a business owner who was spending 80 hours a week, right, and maybe we've taken them down just a few hours, right? Maybe they're seeing their kids just for a couple more minutes a day. Maybe they're getting one more sale, right? That's making a difference, and that permeates across the workforce. That's exciting.
Right.
That's fun.
There's an expression I heard a few years ago, which I really like, and I really believe certainly applies to our business at the New York Enterprise Report, which is, I think we're competing more for talent than we are for clients. Mm. How do you respond to that? What are you seeing in the market?
Yeah, absolutely. You lose one client, you've lost one client. You lose one great employee, how many clients can they take with you? They take
or might just go away for whatever reason.
That's right.
The employee's not there.
Exactly. And so there's a one-to-one relationship with clients. There's a one-to-many relationship with employees. And the reality is, the company with the best talent wins.
Right.
Whatever you're marketing, whatever you're selling or building or servicing, it's the employees that are the competitive advantage.
Right.
And in our minds, the employees are the only competitive advantage. Whatever brand you're making, it exists because of them. Whatever product is going to show up on someone's doorstep,
right.
It's because of them. So, and what I like actually is that conversation is replacing what I got to be honest, which I don't like to hear, and I think a lot of people may appreciate this from a retention expert, is the idea that employees are our most important asset. That's wrong. And I would hope that I could put that to rest.
The asset part?
The asset part, no. See, here's the thing. The company doesn't exist without customers. The company, the most important asset is and will always be the customers, the people who pay the bills.
Right.
What we want to just really put a finer point on, you can't get better customers, more profitable customers, more customers without great employees. And if you drop or somehow lose that connection, that the employees are getting me there, right, then it becomes a platitude, then it becomes keeping up with the Joneses, right. As opposed to a really strategic advantage. that is going to bring us more customers, bigger customers, better customers, in the long run. Does that make sense?
I'm a believer. Hallelujah. So you have another question here, totally different topic. You ever see those marketing consultants that have the worst websites?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I got to ask you this question. You guys are HR retention experts.
Yes.
How's everything going in your company? I mean, is the cobbler's kids have shoes?
Yeah. That's a great question. So we know that there's a finite period of what we call the employee life cycle, that they're in the organization. Mm-hmm. And our employees are going to watch this, right? They're going to keep me honest, and they do. The reality is that our staff and our team is more, I've often said to them, is more retentive than I am, right? And in that they know that we've only got people for so long. For as much as we're contributing and providing value in their lives, that's as long as they can stay with us. Because we're not GE, right? We're not Deloitte, right? There's only so far you can go. And so for as long as we can provide value, I want you to be here. The moment that you feel at my company that you're not getting ROI for your time, then that's okay. You can go, right? And I'm okay with that.
We'll all be friends.
And we'll all be friends, and we could be adult and mature, because at the end of the day, I think we've won in our vision, right? Which our vision is creating workplaces where employees are engaged by what they do and inspired by who they work for. And if people leave our organization having been engaged and inspired, and they take that possibility to other companies, we're winning, because they're going to do it there, and that's okay. Now, that said, we got pretty good tenure. People like being here. People have the freedom. They've got a lot of trust from me, and I got to tell you, it feels like family. The people that I work with.
Retenza is a Retenza client as well.
Yes, and in New York Enterprise, avid readers.
You wouldn't be here without that. So. Chasen, I want to thank you for
absolutely.
helping us out here with Drinks with Rob. And if anybody wants more information on your company, where would they find that on the web?
Absolutely, Retenza, RETENSA.com is a great place to go. There's free articles, there's insights for all levels of an organization, from startup, on up to Fortune 500.
Jason, thanks again.
Thank you.